Okay, soil health is a very important part of our soil's resource. What we're really looking at is the overall condition of the soil. Is it suitable for plant growth? Is it in a condition that's good for environmental quality and water quality? And there are a lot of things that we can do to improve the overall conditions of our soils. Of course, there are inherent properties of the soil that are long-standing properties that we have no control over, like what is the material that the soil was made from, and what's the topography, and what's the climate. But there are things that we can improve, and that's what we're emphasizing when we talk about soil health.
Showing examples of healthy soils and showing some of the practices that can create those kinds of healthy soil environments. Exposing the producers, the agriculture producers that haven't seen too much of the discussion about soil health in a long time, and it's just realizing what potential there is there, and the heightened potential of soils when you the better you treat it, the better it's going to treat you.
My personal feeling about soil health is that what you really want to do is you want to increase the organic matter. And along with organic matter, what you want to do is you want to be focusing on aggregate stability. And by increasing organic matter, you're also increasing aggregate stability. And there's a lot more that goes on with organic matter than people think. And it has a lot to do with microorganisms that are present in the soil that actually play a very big role in aggregate stability. A strong soil, what I consider to be a productive soil, is a soil where you have, high organic matter content, lots of residue on the soil surface. Maybe you've used cover crops. You have a wealth of macroinvertebrates in the soil, including earthworms as well as microorganisms. And that's what I would consider a very productive type of soil. A weak soil would be a soil that has been plowed year after year after year, where there's little consideration made for the organic matter level in the soil. And also, you use no cover crops. Your soil is completely bare during the winter months, which actually facilitates soil sealing during the springtime. When it rains a lot, you get a lot of runoff, accelerated soil erosion. So those are some of the problems I see with weak soils.
Soil health seems to have grown in interest and popularity over the last few years. Some of these things are just cyclical. People remember how important certain things are, and then something new comes along and they forget about the old thing, and then something else comes along and they remember the new thing. So what's happened over the last several years is there's been an emphasis by the NRCS, Natural Resources Conservation Service, on the overall functioning and quality or health of our soils.
So with this soil health initiative, it seems like the soil condition of the soil properties, and the health of the soil are back on center stage. And as a soil scientist, I'm happy to see it, and I'm glad to see it come around after all these years.
What are some of the commonly misunderstood concepts that students have, or that people have, or farmers have about soils? And one is that the whole concept of soil charge. A lot of farmers or people, or some of the people today at the conference, didn't realize that soils have a charge. And the other important concept is the one of soils being alive with microorganisms. They don't really have an appreciation for the almost billions of microorganisms that we have in a gram of soil. And I think that's a very important concept that a lot of people don't understand.
So we have a new project that's really just starting on soil health, and it's going to be going on for at least the next 3 years. We have 4 regional hubs in the state where we will be focusing training, research, and outreach directly to farmers. So we would really encourage those folks who are working with farmers to encourage the farmers to attend some of those workshops that are going to be occurring, where we really talk in detail about cover crops and no-till and how to make them more successful. But soil health, I think, is going to be a major emphasis over the next several years among all conservation agencies, and so I would encourage people to learn more about it and to realize that there can be big benefits for them in their production system, and there will be a lot of opportunity to learn more about it over the next several years.
Another demonstration that we regularly do is we have the metal, they're like cookie cutters, and we'll go out in the field and again try and get something from a conventionally tilled field and from a limited tilled field with cover crops preferably, and then actually take probably a 4 or 5 inch slice of the soil surface, and then we can do a simulated rainfall experiment, and we can see how much runoff, how much infiltration there is, and how much sediment loss there is in a comparison of these.
The target audience for these workshops are basically NRCS people, natural resource conservation people, soil and water conservation district people, people that work for IDEM, the Indiana Department of Environmental Management. Hope they all come away with a greater appreciation for soil, what soil is, and that they come away with an understanding of cover crops, as well as a better understanding of the whole concept behind organic matter and the importance of organic matter and the difference between organic matter and humus, and how increasing organic matter humus levels is so important.